Once you step into your 60s, something gradually begins to shift, not suddenly, not loudly, but subtly. At first, you dismiss it, a missed call here, a slightly off lunch there. But with time, it becomes clearer that some of your longest friendships no longer seem to fit, and that truth hurts more than you'd thought. These are people you've known for ages, you raised your family side by side, grieved together, even took vacations as a group. You believed they were your forever circle. But now, the chats feel awkward. You find yourself across from someone you once confided everything in, noticing how often they talk over you, how rarely they ask about your world, or how drained you feel after being with them. It's not about a single moment, it's a slow loosening, like noticing your favorite sweater has grown itchy. You try to ignore it, convincing yourself, maybe it's a phase, maybe they're struggling, maybe it's me. You give more grace than needed, hoping the bond will return to its old rhythm, but it doesn't. The talk stays surface level, the vibe remains off, and what once felt natural now requires effort, too much effort. That brings a quiet grief, one rarely discussed but deeply felt. Losing touch with coworkers, neighbors, or the guy who fixed your lawn mower. Expected. But friends you've shared decades with? That hits harder. The toughest part is the memories. They were at your wedding, held your grandchild, you both outlived the wild 80s. So how can you drift now? The reality is, friendship needs more than just a shared past, it needs presence, intention. When someone stops showing up in the ways that nourish you, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, no amount of memories can make up for that. And here's a tougher pill, sometimes, people just grow apart. Not from fights or betrayal, but because you've evolved, they have too, and your connection no longer fits. You're leaning into calm, reflection, protecting your inner peace. They're still pulled to chaos, clinging to habits that no longer align with who you are. Conversations that feel real, moments that hold meaning, you still want to laugh, of course, but not at the cost of substance. You crave friendships where people truly listen, not just wait for their turn to talk. And that isn't selfish, it's simply honest. But being honest isn't always simple. It's painful to admit that someone who once felt essential no longer fits in your present. You share a meal, stir your tea, and wonder if they sense the silence too, but if they do, they don't bring it up. It's even tougher when your heart still cares, when they're not harmful or unkind, just distant, detached, stuck on an old version of you that no longer exists. You wish you could reach for them, but the path back feels unclear, and deep down, you suspect they feel it too. Letting go of such bonds can feel like betrayal, as if you're discarding years of shared history. But that's not what's happening. You're just acknowledging that not every connection is meant to last a lifetime. Some people walk with us for many miles, but not all the way to the end. What truly changes after 60 is this: you become deliberate. You begin to ask, does this person bring calm into my life? Or do I leave our time together feeling drained, unseen, or diminished? And when the answer leans toward the second, you start to step back, not from resentment, but from self-honor. You've earned the right to guard your energy. After a lifetime of caring for others, managing work, family, duties, and expectations, this is your season to be mindful of where your heart goes. And that includes facing the truth about friendships that no longer nourish you. But it doesn't have to be harsh. No need for big farewells or long explanations. Sometimes, the gentlest goodbye is simply allowing the distance to grow, and trusting that both of you will find the connection you need elsewhere. And here's the beautiful part: by creating space and stepping away from the wrong ties, you make room for the right ones. For people who see you, who show up, who never ask you to shrink or pretend. It may not be a big circle, but it will be enough. There's no rule that says your deepest friendships can't begin after 60. Some of the most heartfelt bonds form later in life, when the masks have fallen, when the need to impress is gone, when all you're looking for is someone who truly gets what it means to wake with aching knees and a sharper sense of truth. And maybe that's the heart of it all: clarity. Knowing what you value in a friend, and finding the courage to seek it, even if it means releasing those you thought would always be there. If you've been feeling this shift too, take comfort, you're not the only one. This is simply a part of aging with wisdom, not just years, is what truly defines this phase of life. And if you've stayed with this video this long, maybe it's because something here feels familiar. If that's true, maybe consider subscribing, be part of a space where we speak truthfully, without judgment or those odd chain emails from 2007. It begins subtly, in small exchanges. A story that once made you both laugh now falls flat. You talk about a book that touched you, and they shrug, uninterested. You mention waking earlier, journaling more, cutting back on habits, and they smirk and say, "You used to be fun." It's quiet, but unmistakable. The version of you they hold on to isn't who you are anymore. Maybe you used to joke about things that now feel off. Maybe you once bonded over complaints, or gossip, or those endless phone calls that went in circles. But somewhere along the way, you craved something else: peace, intention, deeper talks. And they remained where they were. Maybe it's a friend who still sees you as the 20-something they met decades ago, as if you haven't grown, endured, transformed. You try to share who you are now, but they don't quite hear it, or worse, they do and wave it off, like growth is a nuisance. Being misunderstood by someone who once knew you inside out, that cuts deep. It's like your roots dug deeper while theirs stayed shallow. Now you speak in different tongues, live in different emotional seasons. They want to rewind, you want to look ahead. This doesn't make you superior. They're not wrong. It just means your paths, once parallel, are now veering apart. And the harder you try to pull the friendship onto your new path, the heavier it becomes. So, eventually, you let go. You stop initiating. Stop over-explaining. Stop pretending laughter is still real when it only echoes. And that's when the space creeps in, not loud, but definite. Messages shrink. Birthdays become texted, not called. Invites slow. And the quiet feels easier than the strain of keeping alive what's already gone still. The strange part? You can deeply love someone and still know it's time to step away. Love doesn't erase weariness, or that dull sting of not being truly seen. Sometimes love makes it harder, you cling to the goodness. The nights they stood by you. The holidays, the meals, the inside jokes. But those moments start to feel like postcards from a past you no longer live in. Releasing that friendship doesn't erase the good times. It simply means you're honoring where you stand today. And that, all by itself, is worthy of recognition, because not everyone finds the courage to admit when something once meaningful has come to its natural end. So, where does that leave you? With space. With stillness. Maybe even a calendar that looks a bit emptier than before. And yes, that emptiness can feel like loneliness at first. But it also offers an opening, the chance to build new connections that align with the person you've become. Friends who discuss ideas, not just people. Friends who celebrate your growth and reflect it. Friends who don't mind that you're in bed by 9:30 or that you've started skipping sugar in your coffee. You may meet them at book circles, walking clubs, or local events. Maybe online. Maybe while waiting in line at the pharmacy, starting a conversation with someone who understands you in 5 minutes more than others did in 50 years. And when you meet these people, even if it's just one or two, something shifts. There's a lightness, a new ease, and you realize how much you've been missing it. Suddenly, you understand that friendship after 60 isn't about duration, it's about alignment. Not how long you've known someone, but how deeply you connect. That's the shift. You lose a few, but you gain a sharper sense of who you are and who's worth sharing your time with. You begin choosing relationships that bring nourishment, that feel like an exhale. That feel like calm. And you release the guilt for wanting or needing that. Because if life has taught you anything, it's this: time is a gift. And you have every right to spend it with people who truly see you, not just remember who you once were. Some friends are for a season. Others, for a few chapters. And the rarest ones stay through the whole story. But it's okay to turn the page. It's not disloyalty, it's growth. So, if you've been mourning a friendship that slowly faded or wondering whether it's okay to let go, this is your permission. You are not alone. And you're not unkind. You're just finally choosing peace over duty, presence over pressure, and joy over history. And hey, if you're looking for a voice to walk with you through this next part of life, I'm right here. No pressure. But if this message hit home, feel free to subscribe. I'll be here with more honest thoughts, quiet truths, and never any annoying spam. Now go call that one friend who makes you feel seen. The one who asks how you are, and waits for the real answer. You know exactly who. Because those are the friendships that make growing older truly worth it.